It's the 69th Omloop Het Nieuwsblad, the 2014 edition of this UCI Europe Tour race, first held back in 1945. Well, it was the Het Volk, a big rival to the Tour of Flanders. Things changed to the Het Nieuwsblad under the Flanders Classics organisation now, and what a race it is. Spring is here, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is where legends are made. We're in East Flanders, the traditional curtain raise of the Belgian spring season here. A little bit warmer than last year, thankfully. -7 this time last year, with Luca Paolini taking the win. Here in the St. Pietersplein in Ghent, it is a cloudy day, but of course the temperatures are much better than they were last year. Luca Paolini winning in 2013, Sepp van Mot the year before. This is a race that usually makes names. Pippo Pozzato, Philippe Gilbert, but remember, one big name missing, that is Tom Boonen. This is the only Belgian cobble classic that he hasn't won. So some big names, and plenty of big names here to try and win it again. This morning, the likes of Lotto lining up, all the big Belgian teams. A first chance of the spring for the local fans to get a look at their heroes. Top for Vlaanderen, we're here and signing in. Always aggressive, always ready to light up the races. Will Team Sky finally have some classic success? Giant Shimano, of course, have taken over the sponsorship of the Argos team. Have a couple of protagonists themselves. Française des Jeux with Arnaud Demar. Let's see if it comes down to some sort of sprint at the end. A sad week for I Am Cycling. Henrik Hausler absolutely distraught at the loss of his teammate Christophe Godard, who died very tragically in a training accident last week in Antwerp. So City Hall in Ghent was the venue for the sign-in. The Belfry Tower. BMC were here with Thor Hussoft and Taylor Phinney there. Phinney being given a free role for this race today. He's a man that many people feel can develop into a top classics rider. Belkin and Lars Bohm have their chances. Thor Hussoft, the former world champion, the current Norwegian champion for a BMC team that also has Greg van Avermaet. San Bavo Cathedral, another of those wonderful Ghent monuments. The Gravenstein as well. This really is a city worth visiting. Dave Miller wearing some special shoes today. Take a look at those strides. The cobbles and the newspapers. And this is what this race is about. And a man ready to honour the race. What a team the Omega Pharma Quick-Step boys bring, led by Tom Boonen, but 2 or 3 possible captains. A lot of people talking up Niki Terpstra, Zdeněk Stybar, and of course Steen van den Berg. The man who won it last year is there, Luca Paolini, the Italian for Katusha. Belkin always have options. Winner 2 years ago, Sepp van Mark. There is the aforementioned Van Avermaet. A chance for him perhaps this year. He says he arrives here in form. Lotto, well, they're all in for Jurgen Roelands. All about the star of the show though. Tomek is here, Tom Boonen. Another former world champion, king of the cobbles for many a year. Last year was an off one for him. Before the start, we had a minute's silence in memory of the recently departed Christophe. So on the procession out of town, 164 participants for the 198 kilometres from Ghent back and around to Ghent. Zdeněk Stybar, one of the big favourites for today. Multiple cyclocross star. Luca Paolini. Never know, he could well defend his title as well. Extremely experienced. Thumbs up for the camera. And always enthusiastic. The official depart was given in Merelbeke. So for Merelbeke, 198 kilometres all the way around. This year sees the return of the Muur Kappelmuur, perhaps the most famed of the Flemish Hellingen after a 3-year absence. The Leiberg, Hostellerie, Muur, Valkenberg, the Kruisberg, Tyenberg, or the Bonenberg as it's known, Ekenberg, Wolfenberg, Leiberg and the Molenberg again. And of course, there are those cobbled sectors too. So out onto the course on a murky, cloudy, typical Belgian spring day. We're live with our 8 breakaway riders, 95.3 kilometres to go. The break includes, well, a rider from Katusha, Alexander Kushinsky, the Belarusian. Of course, it means that the reigning champions team doesn't have to do too much chasing at the minute. Alongside him, Ramon Sinkeldam, surprised to see him in the race. A lot of people putting him as a joker for today. Not a bad bet at all. Christophe Laborie is there, as is Paterski, Cyril Lemoine, Stijn Stils, Andreas Schillinger and Frederik Voikelen, now riding for the Wanty Group Goubert team. No surprise to see presence of these top sport Vlaanderen Baloise team. Expect them to be riding for Jelle Valais today. You can see it's cold though. A few people have had their knee leg warmers on. There's Christophe Laborie riding for Bretagne Sèche Environnement, the former Soyerson rider. Aforementioned man from Katusha, Kuczynski. Previous good form in Vevelgem back in 2009. Second he was then. There's Frederik Voikelen, a winner of Dwars Vlaanderen in 2006. NetApp involved, remember, they're going to the Tour de France this year. Big year for Team NetApp Ventura. Andreas Schillinger, one of their German riders. He wrapped up, trying to protect himself from the elements. Cyril Lemoine was wearing leg warmers until around 10 minutes ago. Pace being upped. The gap at around 4 minutes and 4 seconds the last time we checked. Alongside him, for the Polish CCC team, is Maciej Paterski. So it's a big day here on the streets of Flanders. This is where everything starts. This is where the legends begin to be made. It's semi-classic time. We've had a couple of our Hellingen already. Only 4.1 kilometres to go. The next one will come at the Kruisberg. 71.5 k's to go. Before that, we go through the Haaghoek, the second passage of the cobblestones. 2 kilometres long. Then the Kruisberg, then the Tyenberg. Will Tom Bonen have a go with 61.9 kilometres to go? It's his favourite hill around these parts, nicknamed the Bonenberg. Heading in 7, Eichenberg, 56 kilometres to go. The Wolfenberg with 53.5. Leiberg with 43.1. That was our first climb today. It will be the second passage of that. And the Molenberg, the last climb with 37.6 kilometres to go. And after that, just 3 cobbled sectors, the last of which comes 21.6 kilometres to go. And then, well, if the gap is small and the group behind is willing, there will be a real chance for any gap to be closed. 93.4 kilometres to go. The gap is in 3 minutes and 11 seconds. This promises to be a very unpredictable race. It always is at this time of the year. Remember last year the race began in the last 50 kilometres. Sylvain Chavanel attacked then. A group of around 10 riders formed a bit of a group 2-3 kilometres down the road. And then just outside the last 25 k's or so, Luca Paolini and Stijn Stils got away. Now then, a crash further back, and look at this. Bad news for Thor Hushovd. Well, 93.1 kilometres to go. Hushovd has gone down, he looks hurt. And one of the big favourites for today, and one of the big favourites for the spring, being helped out by Sylvain Tillier. He's taken a bit of skin off his left thigh as Thor Hushovd. Big disappointment for him. The question is it just a bike change? I'll tell you that it may well be the end for him. If he's going to sit down, then that is not good news for the Norwegian champion. Could we be having our first big casualty of the day? In fact, there's a bit of a gash to the left leg there. Dillier is told to carry on, and unfortunately, as you can hear someone saying, he's out. It certainly looks as though, for today at least, we have lost Thor Hushovd. Well, we're just about to run you through the favourites. It seems that Hushovd, runner-up on a stage of the Tour of Var last week, has gone down in a pretty innocuous crash. And he just lost his footing. The wheel has gone from under him. Luckily, he's not taken anybody else down. Near the back of the peloton, tries to get up straight away and continue. It is a crash at not high speed at all. He's just taken a nasty landing there, Tour Hushovd, and that is not good news. So, first bit of drama. With 90-odd kilometres to go, the gap at 3:07, but the problem's happening behind in the peloton. Tour Hushovd was in good form. A runner-up on the first stage of the Tour de Var last weekend. He also took off on a solo breakaway the following day as well, and showed that his form was just arriving at the right time. He said that he was coming to Belgium to race for the win, racing not just today, but of course tomorrow as well in Kuurne, Brussels-Kuurne. One may be in doubt for him. Certainly today, it looks as though we will not be seeing Tour Hushovd at the minute. You can see Omega Pharma Quick-Step with all of their options at the front. Let's have a look at the crash again. Just look towards the back of this group here. What happens to Tour Hushovd? Well, it's a slight connection with the CCC Polsat rider in front of him. On first look at, it was pretty obvious to everybody looking that he just lost his wheel, but he's had a bit of a nudge. And here we go with Omega Pharma Quick-Step working on the front. See the faces of Stibar, Bold a little far behind. Nerves in the peloton. It's that type of racing. It is back, of course. A lot of you watching love it. You have to be careful in Belgium. There wasn't even any road furniture involved there. Yes, it was just a little turn around a corner. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Hushovd looks to be out then. Our first big drama of the afternoon. Two minutes 52, the gap between the peloton chasing and those 8 escapees on the left-hand side. If you're joining us a little late, they are Kuczynski, Laborie, Paterski, Lemoine, Sinkeldam, Voikelen, Stales and Schillinger. And on the right-hand side in the black top, representing Giant Shimano, Ramon Sinkeldam. He was talked up as a possible winner of this race today. Of course, with him being in the breakaway, you can certainly guess that his team have other ideas. Perhaps thinking of Dries de Venijns. He's now in the squad and free from the shackles of racing behind the bigger names at Omega Pharma Quick-Step. And it is on to our next section of cobbles. The Haag-Hoek, 2 kilometres long. No climbing here. The cobbles in fairly decent condition. Coming onto the cobbles, the good news today is that the roads are dry. No ice, no frozen elements around as there was last year. As well, we're going to have a new initiative from the organisers. Remember, there is no race radio here, given the fact that it is a Europe Tour event, not the World Tour. So we have digital clocks. Clocks started on some of the Hellingen, 6 of them in fact, and the last 2, Paderstraat and of course the Langemunte, last 2 common sections. 1 kilometre of cobbles to go. Digital clock to tell us the differences between those in front and those behind. And as it gets a little faster up the front, change of pace all the time, and Omega Pharma Quick-Step controlling things. Alongside Française Deschamps, everybody wanting to be at the front, stretch things out. Look at all these turns, thin roads, narrow roads, there's crowd about as well. You can see just exactly why everybody wants to be at the front here. It is the safest place to be, quite simple. On to the Haag-Hoek we go. Française Deschamps coming here with a couple of options. You had number 3 on the main one. They were due to bring Mathieu Ladagnou. Arnaud Demar is here. Rugby, they changed the second sponsor now. And it's up to the back. Sky on the right-hand side with Ian Stannard. Great spring he had last year. Just to see how they're going to go with. There's no Geraint Thomas this year for them. He was the best British finisher and the best Sky finisher last year in this race. Finished fourth. There's Bernie Eisel as well. This is where he really does come into his own in terms of working for himself, perhaps, as well. He's considered a decent joker for any sort of race at this level. He's there on his wheel. Morgan, Stannard, Eisel, big options today. They also have the likes of Christian Nace, Bill Rash as well. Luke Rose, the hard worker, Chris Sutton, or if there's a fast finish. First spots of rain on the camera. It's not good news as they come onto the cobbles. Just a moment ago how dry they were, in fact. Certainly from this camera angle, get a glimpse of how dangerous it can be if the peloton's not stretched out here. Happy to keep the candle what it is. Fireworks surely will begin when we get to the last 50 kilometres or so. 2 minutes 48, the gap is very much in control. Ramps, plenty of time in which to bring things back. As you see a few of Team Sky supporters on the hard walk. Steiner Megaphonic, a lot on the left. Euban Roulox is their man today. Köln tomorrow. She's the Busserer fast finisher as well. Team with the likes of Margitic back to ride hard for them as well. Now the problem, mechanical. Looks like a bicycle change required for the CCC rider at the back. Not the best place to be caught out, to be honest. Good news for him is that there's still a long, long way to go here. Into Zegelsen. Wonderful images earlier as we went up the famous Kappelmuur. Local organisers allowing people to come up and watch on the side of it. Always permitted, of course. Very, very early on in the race, though, before our live images were produced. Not just the pros who are out on the bikes today. As the weather starts to turn a little more inclement, you can see the roads becoming a little further more damp. Stretched out a little. We had the crash of Thor Hushovd. Remember, Hushovd, we think, is out. Nasty crash on the side of the road. BMC losing one of their main men. Still plenty of options for them there. Possibilities, in fact. The team that included at 2009 winner Thor Hushovd, and 2 top 5 finishes as well. Greg van Avermaet, 3 top 5 finishes in the past 5 years here. Marcus Burkhardt as well, has previously been in the top 5 at this race. Seeing up together on Thursday, in fact. A bit of recon of the 60k, last 60k of the course. Lodewijk running the last 80k's on Wednesday as well, in front of the car and Rick Verbrugge. So Kaczynski, Sinkeldam, Laborie and Paterski. So Lemoine, Schillinger, Stales and Voigelen. Top breakaway, 2 minutes. Maximum gap they've had has been about 4.5 minutes. When the first 10k's or so. Big headlines towards the end of this race. Leukeman's there, Terpstra we've talked about as well. Here's Van Mark behind. In a minute he's being chased down. Is that Van den Berg behind him? Van Mark overtakes Sinkeldam. break, remember. Even Roulance is in the chase group. Bowden, Van Mark, Finney is there as well. There's still plenty of big names behind him. Van Mark really giving it a go today. Remember, it was here he made his name 2 years ago. Did a big transfer to Belgium. Wanted to go to a Dutch-speaking team. It looks as though it's over for the break, though, with just less than 50 kilometres to go. Flick of the arm from Terpstra. Just getting the feeling they've not held enough of an advantage to hold off the chasing group behind, the one that includes Van Mark. This is Frederik Voikelen in the meantime. Now Sepp Van Mark trying to close that gap. Not the first time he's taken off on his own today. How much is there in that tank, though? Mark gaining. And he's going to be into play with the front of the race. He has company behind as well. Well, who's this chasing? Steen van den Berg, indeed. Well, two of the big protagonists of the last two editions of this race. Winner a couple of years ago, Sepp Van Mark, followed by behind him, the man who was second 12 months ago, Steen van den Berg. This is magical. 48.8 kilometres to go. The break has been called. It's been a decent job done. Now it's time to hang in there, boys, or at least try to do. Strong group here at the front. Van den Berg is there, Terpstra is there. Chasing behind a few more of those Omega Pharma Quick-Step jerseys. They won't be doing the work with these boys in front, though. Sepp Van Mark and Belkin will be happy with the presence and composition of this group as well. Dries de Venijns looks to be there too. Attempt to keep this going with Kuczynski. If you've missed this type of racing, welcome to a cycling sprint. It's here for the next month and a half. 3 weeks to San Remo. Now Sky riding for what we think to be Edvald Boasson-Hagen today. Stannard's been active. Bernie Eisel is a man to consider. Christian Mees has already been down in a crash. A lot of riders still with the possibilities here. Some big names still involved. Breakaway. It's dying embers at least, attempting to keep going. Time to look around. Brief sensation of hostilities, and it all looks like it's going to come back together. So the last 20Ks really has split these things up. Ever since Lotto made those first tentative moves, Sepp Van Mark duly followed. There are some huge names with giant pedigrees still. I'm not just referring to the team. Time to go again, Terpstra once more. So many options for Omega Pharma Quick-Step. They will be disappointed if they have nobody to play in the final here. Terpstra in this group. We've already seen Van den Berg, we've seen Bonen, we've seen Trentin as well. Not too sure about the presence of Stibar at the moment. He was Bonen's tip for the win. Is that a serious tip? Or was he playing a few mind games? We'll see. Stibar certainly has the form. as does Tom Bowman, you feel that. Coming into the race in the best position at this time of the year for first time in quite some time. Remember last winter he had all the health problems before his crash in Flanders. And it's time to take off again. Vandenberg on the left-hand side there. In the meantime, looking behind, we get the first glimpse for a while of Jurgen Brulons, wearing number 11. 206 is Bjorn Leukemans. Approaching the catch of the main group in front. So Roulon Sloan with a chance, but really can't see any teammates around him. Needs to get into this group and hang on. 2 more climbs to come. The next in just under 2 kilometres. Another nerve corner. Onto the Haaghawk. 3rd passage of the day. I am cycling back in. That's what we want to see, remember. No more big and very, very popular winners here today than I am cycling. I tell you, that is... It didn't look to be the jersey of Sylvain Chavanel. We shall see. To be Salamontins, but confirmation. In fact, it is Salamontins. Further back, this is Sylvain Chavanel. His face clearly visible, and if he is there, then that is great for this race. He wanted to win it for Christophe Godard, and he is making the move with 45.2 kilometres to go. Driving them across the Haaghawk. Matteo Trentin just behind him. He looks around. Terpstra to the left as well, pokes his head out. Trentin second wheel, and Chavanel leading them across. Sky have Stannard as well. René Eisel here. Interesting man to play into the final 2. All the big boys starting to show themselves. Now, quick attack, Vandenberg. Set Van Mark on his wheel once more. Being chased down by a BMC jersey. Is that Taylor Phillip? No, it's not. Greg van Avermaet. Well, he's been quiet for a while. Haaghawk providing the latest opportunity to attack. Too many remaining. The Leyberg is our next climb in a moment. Molenberg, 37 k's remaining. After that, just 3 sections of pavé. Paderstraat, Lindenhovenstraat and the Langemunte. Evan Vossenhagen on the left-hand side, still involved. No cessation in the attacks here. This is wonderful to watch. Vandenberg and Sepp van Mott just behind as they come off the Haaghawk, and we head to the Leyberg. Look how stressed that they are. If you're not near the front now, then you have got a lot of work to do. Onto the Leyberg we go. 950 metres. 4.2% the average, a maximum of 13.8. Look at the crowds. The rain doesn't put them off. They just want to see big racing. Here we go. Vandenberg. Van Mark is there as well. Jelle Valleys there or thereabouts. Van Avermaet on the left-hand side. Edvard Vossenhagen, 5th and 6th wheel too. Plenty of big names about. This is the go. They said they were informed coming into this BMC. They had the options as well. Now that Hushov's gone, they've got one left. But they're having a go. He's being marked. No wonder. Look behind. This is two Omega Pharma Quick-Step jerseys. Van Mark. It's cold, it's wet, there's mud flying everywhere. Some pretty mucky faces about. Mat, the latest to have a go. Behind, there are three Belkin jerseys in this group. And you know that now the winner is going to come from this mass of riders. Semi-4 for Garmin is Sebastian Lankefeld right at the back. 9.6 there's Edouard Tones, who was in one of the big breaks last week at the Vuelta a Andalucía. Brulons is there, and this is the latest move to attack the front. Wassenhagen. Beside him is Terpstra. Who's the Jeux rider? Is that Hodema? Not too sure. It certainly looks to be him. Legberg done. Next up, the Molenberg. Last climb. Is anybody going to have it in them to make the difference? No sign of Heinrich Hausler, but I can tell you, Sylvain Chavanel is in there for IM Cycling. Being that would not be the more popular winner. Wassenhagen having a go on the left-hand side. He was down in Spain preparing for this race. Sky and Chavanel counter-attacks from behind. Stannard follows him. Pace really up here. Miss it here and miss out towards the end of the race. He was the man to start things. He's still going. He's got the gap down to 35 seconds here. It said that things could be happening behind. Wilson. Success in junior races, of course. Running in Andalusia last week. Sprint train that didn't have any luck in the end. Thought they were going to manage to take things on the last stage. Belkin, top sports, almost identical front and behind. Shrug of the shoulders, what are you playing at? Come on! Seth Van Mark wants to be involved here. Lloyd Garcia. No nonsense stuff from Van Mark. Remember, he's on home roads as well. From just down the road from Kent where we finish. Lidvoldenstraat, penultimate sector of cobbles, 1.3 kilometres long. And here we go with Terpstra launching another one on the right. Followed straight away by Bo. Van Bilsen attempting to keep on the wheel of demand. Perhaps realising that the gap might be coming down. 14 seconds now. Van Bilsen struggling to hang on. This is really strong riding from Nicky Terpstra. Bone can live with him at the minute, but it looks as though Terpstra's got rid of Van Bilsen for the minute. De Maar fading as well. Edouard Wassenhagen not far behind. It's Roulants now having a go behind as well. Everything happening at once. Seth Van Mark. The three stronger riders have come to the fore. Interesting to see how long Wassenhagen can hold on there. He's done so much work over the last half an hour or so. Terpstra looks an absolute machine today. So here we have confirmation. Three riders bossing it now. De Maar and Van Bilsen have faded. turn. Chris Devonines behind. We've seen Van Avermaet have multiple attacks. And there's Kuczynski, the man who was in the break, still hanging on. Juan Alfredo close to the back. Taylor Finney trying to close the gap. Side in Lagerveld. All about Terence. It's looked me ever since he started to like this at the Southland mark. Osborne has responded well. In a minute, he's the only man contributing as well. Hagen, his first big win, certainly in a Grand Tour anyway. The weather was very similar to this. It was in the north of Italy, Giro d'Italia. Chiavenna was the stage. It was a horrible day. Racing for HTC High Road back then, as it was. Wonderful win. Similar conditions to today. Does he have it to finally ride home and realise his classic's potential? Latest dig, as you can see, came from Lagerveld. Some tired faces there. Nobody giving up yet, though. Taylor Finney, maturing as a rider at a very, very fast rate. If you don't learn things out there on the road on days like this, then you never will. Standard still in that. Avermaet pushes his head out as well. 14.4 seconds. The gap isn't budging despite the efforts of these guys. There's going to come a time when they're going to tire. Not too many places with which to launch big attacks. Up front, in the meantime, it's still the same three. And the distance between them and Arnaud Demar growing with Kenneth van Bilsen even further back. Despite his success in the junior version of the Tour of Flanders a few years ago, it looks as though in the seniors here, he's out of gas. Just over 25 kilometres remain, 49 seconds the gap between our three very strong leaders who are at the front. Lars Bohm, alongside him is the man from Sky, Edvald Boasson-Hagen, and of course, who else? A big fighter in this race so far. All along, since things really started heading up, he's been excellent. Van Avermaet also chasing. Van Bilsen drifting. 47 seconds the gap. Huge names still in this group. The gap seems to be growing. Filthy conditions out there. Here comes Roulons then. On his wheel is Van Avermaet. Still in the lead as the group behind starts to fracture. Voits Garcia drifting back. We have Bohm, we have Edvald Boasson-Hagen and Nicky Terpstra. On your screen there is Laurence de Vries. 196 is Edward Towns. 146 for Cofidis. Florian Sénéchal, another man who was in a break last week to test his form down in Spain. Seconds. If they work together, then they've enough to play with. They start looking around at each other, that's when the problems will start for them. Arnaud Démare is the only chaser at the minute. Of course, it is going to be a big effort for Démare to get back on here. Lars Boom behind. Oh, Boom. He wants the team car, in fact. Boom with a front wheel puncher at the worst possible time. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. And those guys in front between a rock and a hard place, because, of course, they won't want to attack at this point, but if they don't, they'll lose their lead, so they have to keep riding. Lars Boom and Belkin, disaster striking. And, well, things change yet again through luck. Neutral service, thankfully, is along, but Lars Boom looks behind. Is it worth wasting the energy to get back on in the front? I think he decides it is. He didn't want to have to do that. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Jürgen Brulot's just behind him. Oh, and he's lost that entire advantage. What a nightmare for Lars Boom. If there was ever a time to get a puncher, that was not it. So here we go. No choice but to keep on working. Down to just 2 men. Boasson-Hagen and Terpstra. Shows that things can be going nice and swimmingly. And then that happens. He will be absolutely fuming. Blood boiling on a cold day for Lars Boom. Having a chat with what's behind. Mr. Langeveld there, as is Jürgen Brulot. No need to chase from Megathon or Quick-Step or Sky at the minute. They have the men to do so if necessary, but their men are out in front. 33 seconds here, and a conversation happening. Approaching the Langemunte, the last cobbled section. And whatever's being said needs to be said quickly, and there has to be collaboration. Still 21.7 Ks remaining. Now. These two looking behind. I wonder if they're waiting to see if Arnaud Démare can join them. I'm not sure that's the greatest idea. He's quicker than those two, certainly over a sprint. The question is, has Démare left too much on the road in terms of chasing? As I said before, this time of year, with all the obstacles they've gone through, the filthy, horrible weather as well, it can come down to just desire. What is left? It's not necessarily the fastest finisher on paper who will take it here. Terpstra and Boasson-Hagen, 34 seconds is the gap over what is left of the big favourites in the peloton. Lars Boom wants to catch them up again. Boasson-Hagen really putting in a ding. Terpstra behind him. Terpstra as well. He could probably know if there is the equal amount of tiredness in the legs, then Boasson-Hagen's the quicker. On to the Langemunte for 2.5 kilometres, 20 Ks to go, 28 seconds the gap. That's coming down all the time. This race still is not yet decided. It'll on to the final cobbled section. There's doubts here. They don't know what to do. Do we carry on? Do we wait to be regrouped? Do we see if Arnaud Démare can catch us? In the meantime, Sepp van Mark behind, and the race is on once again. Wants some help. Taylor Finney's there. Don't count him out yet. Look at the gaps here. They're all visible in the same shot again. 22 seconds. And Juan Alfredo. Devon Hines is in there. Stannard's back up to the front. Strong as an ox, the British rider. Démare back in the room. 22 seconds. And here we go, Finney with his latest dig. No end to it today. That's not going to help the break. This is where he went. Gesture on to come on and through. Finney then Julian West. It was a big dig. The American racing brilliantly. looks like a mudbath as well at the same time. Not going to be any clean faces crossing the line. This is proper spring racing. Seconds. Demar back in the group, as you can see. Van den Berg is still there. Huge, giant frame of his. So strong on his home roads. And Mark wants more bodies to commit. Gabriel Rasch is still there for Sky as well. He's been hiding for a while. Here comes Vossenhagen though. They were hanging about, and this is his dig. Is this his moment? Terpstra needs to find the strength to hang on here. Edvald Vossenhagen picked his moment on the longer Munter, and he's putting distance between himself and Nicky Terpstra. Key moment in the race. Inside 20 k's to go. The gap is going down. Vossenhagen doesn't want it to come back together, and he is attempting to ride for dear life now. Terpstra, teeth gritted. What a start to the Cobble Classics. Sky yet to take a big Classics win. It's one of the former winners, though. Is Sam Van Mark. With all that Classics pedigree. Questions being asked to the camera then. Arms up there. And this is Langeveld. Loves this race, knows this race, he's won this race, and he's leading the chase. Wonderful race we're seeing. Going to get some fuel into those muscles somehow though. This is the moment for Edvald Vossenhagen. A look behind. Time for half a conversation. I can tell you Terpstra does not look impressed. So suspicious of each other, and here we go, it's counter-attack time. Roelants is following. Stibar's there as well, Tjugel, Van Mark. Devonites, Langeveld, Robert Wagner still there as well, as is Le Bon. Tima, Luke Rowe, Ian Stannard, Julien Fouchard, Waits, and Jean-Pierre Drucker. Bones having another go in the meantime. 24 seconds the gap. These two very wary of each other. They've attacked each other in the last 5 seconds or so. And they're trying to get the gap, they don't know. Trying to get the gap, trying to get the man to go out in front on the motor as well. Nicky Terpstra's nervous and he's letting it show. Wants the right info and he's not getting it. No race radios here. Wants all the bikes in between them. Behind. Company's coming, a regroup's coming, well. Split to death up the back. There is so much more racing here. And those of you talking up Zdeněk Štibar at the start of the race, he's still involved. It's his time of day. .6 to go, and here goes Ian Stannard. He's got company as well. Van Avermaet just behind him. Le Bon, I think it is not too far back. 16.4 k's to go. It's difficult to keep track of where everybody is. This is wonderful racing. We look towards the front again. Former British champion Stannard, who was excellent last spring. Just needs that big wind to break through on this stage. Van Avermaet, remember, 3 times in the top 5 in this race in the last 5 years. Seems to be the story of his spring season. Again and again and again, he's the Neely man, is Van Avermaet. 7Ks. Cat and mouse is causing delays. Everybody looking at each other. It's working for Standard and Van Avermaet at the moment. That's a dangerous combination. They have a gap. Well, the last 10 minutes or so coming up very, very soon. To 5-10 Ks to go as well. Still don't count out the possibility that it could be a small sprint here. There's a decent boom still involved. 15 kilometres remain. This is one epic omloop Het Nieuwsblad, the 69th edition of the race. First run in 1945. Jan Bourgaerts was the first winner. 4 wins for Belgium, 4 for the Netherlands, 4 for Italy, and only Germany, Ireland, Norway and Spain have had 1 winner each. So Terpstra and Boasson back in the bunch. It is they who have to look on as others attack now. Le Bon is having another go. This is Alfredo in the meantime. Riders all over the road. Group number 3 it is. Standard and Van Avermaet in perfect position at the minute. Calm before the next storm of attacks. Look at this from Luke Road. Standard. Of course, not need to just flicker the arm from the Brit. Loves these conditions. Absolutely loves them. The Milan-San Remo last year. As apocalyptic as you can get on a bike. He rode, he was strong, he was there. Avermaet is here as well. 9 seconds they have. Not looking great for them, you have to say. There are some pretty willing riders behind. One of them is this man. And he can just go again, and again, said Van Mark. Gap down to 8 seconds. Terpstra again looking to follow. Something left for the big Dutchman as well. Boasson is there. I just don't know when to give up these guys. Well, if you're watching, you're sitting comfortably on a sofa. Busy, or if you've just come in from a ride like the one that these guys are putting themselves through. Whatever you're doing, I bet you're confident the winner is so tough out here. A lot of cynics will say that Van Avermaet never does it. Certainly not in these types of races. Is this his moment though? Taylor Finney's done a heck of a lot of work for BMC today. They lost their main captain, Thor Hussoft, who's in form very, very early on with 90k still to go. Don't put it past him. I'm not sure he's going to do it from this 2-man group because they are catching. Again, whoever wins, there is a full list of riders who have done the world of cycling and this race a massive honour today. This has been a breathtaking watch. And 12 kilometres of it remain. The leaders on the road. Ian Stannard, front covered. Barely see the Union flag. There's representation of the former British champion. Just in front of Greg Van Avermaet of BMC. They have the luxury of leaving the former champion out of the team. At home in the warm weather in Monaco and Philippe Joubert today. This is the chase behind, and Nicky Terpstra's coming back for more. Set Van Mark once again involved. Boasson. Just a matter of meters they have on Taylor Finney, who's trying to chase them down now. Dries de Van Hines is there as well. The only active force left for Gian Shimano. Just the ride into Ghent. That's all that remains for these guys. Through Medal Baker now. Teheran is the most, one of the most probably scenic cities in this part of the world. Boss and Hagen emptying his bottle there. Anything to get rid of some weight. Seconds. Back to Group 2. Stannard and Van Avermaet riding well here. There's a battle going on behind to see who can stay involved. Luke Rose just about hanging on. Okay, a great test of maturity for the Welshman as well here this week. There's Van Mark. Camp after him. What a performance, whatever happens. Former winner of the race. 2 years ago, he surprised Boland in the sprint. It won't be Tomaca's year, we don't think, this year. There'll still be some involvement from his team. So attacks and counter-attacks. 11 seconds now. Top Sport really laying it on. 5.5 Ks to go. 38 seconds to those behind in this group. It is excitement, and it's coming all the way through to the last 5 kilometers here in the Het Nieuwsblad. Stannard still pedaling on 5 at the front. What a ride from him. But is it going to be another nearly ride? We shall see. There's Hagen behind, who is, of course, not going to chase his teammate, Sky. Very strong for once. And is this the moment? We said it around half an hour ago. Just as a passing moment. Of course, Ten Upstra again wants info. He's not happy today. Is this Sky's moment? Van Avermaet. Quickest of these two on paper. The last few minutes of what has been a truly epic race. 4.5 Ks to go. Count Group 3 out of this now. It is between 5 riders at the front. Greg Van Avermaet, Ian Stannard, and 10 seconds behind them we have the very strong group of Ten Upstra, Boas and Hagen. As the latest time check is being filtered through, and of course Sepp Van Mark, former winner of the race, right there, 46 wheels on through. Boas and Hagen conserving a bit of energy, comes back together, then Sky again will feel that they have the chances. Stannard still working at the front. Remember, this is a race they do like. Yet to make a breakthrough at a big monument. There's a Spanish classics hunter that did the job a few years ago for them. Okay, flick of the arm from Stannard. Don't need the sunglasses anymore. It is game time. The end game is here, and here goes Van Avermaet. Stannard has to stay with him. They've got to keep this gap. 12 seconds. Meantime, there has to be some concerted effort behind to try and close it. Those at 46, forget them now. It's been horrible, filthy, epic weather. Just look at the riders' faces. The ounce of colour visible on the kits anymore. A race that down the year has been dominated by Belgians and Northern Europeans. Well, we have a Belgian and a Northern European in front. 12 seconds. Van Avermaet and Stannard. The United Kingdom has never had a winner of the Omloop Het Nieuwsblad. Van Avermaet looking to become the 55th Belgian to take the tries. Who's got anything left in the legs? 3 Ks to go. And it is still raining sideways here. Horrible. Nice big effort. Of last year, and the 2 riders are going to come to the finish together. Approaching the last kilometre now, 16 seconds. It's going to be between Greg Van Avermaet and Ian Stannard. They start to play cat and mouse, and with 1 kilometre to go, Stannard puts in the first ding. A look behind, Van Avermaet will follow him. Who wants it now? Slight uphill drag before it flattens out again into the last couple of 100 metres. They'll come into the St. Peter's Plan, and in front of a couple of thousand or so people that are watching, braving the elements. We'll see the winner of the 69th edition. Stannard in front. Looks behind, Van Avermaet in the perfect position for him here. They do have a bit of time to play with. 16 seconds at the last count. You think that Stannard is going to want to get Van Avermaet in front of him, but here goes Van Avermaet. Now then, you have to feel that Stannard's going to attack here, which is going to be his moment of choosing. Time running out. Trying to keep out of the vision of Van Avermaet. The Sky man, the strong man, and the Belgian fast man. Just a few 100 metres to the line. Stannard waits, Stannard sits. Van Avermaet in front of him. The Belgian is wary. This is the best chance that the Briton will have to take what would be the biggest win of his career, and here goes Ian Stannard. It's a sprint to the line again as Stannard launches it. Stannard with Van Avermaet just behind him. It is Stannard, he's staying strong for a minute. This is incredible from Ian Stannard. Stannard goes, couple of metres, maybe a bike length and a half in front of Van Avermaet. Van Avermaet is gaining all the time now into the slipstream. The Belgian is there. It is a wonderful win. The sprint comes behind as we cut away from the winner, and it will be Edvald Boasson surely to take the sprint for 3rd place. And it will be Ian Stannard who wins ahead of Van Avermaet, and it looks as though Edvald Boasson will win the sprint to the line. Sky with 2 riders on the podium. Stannard wins, the first British rider to win Omloop Het Nieuwsblad, and what a ride. The mud, the tiredness, fatigue etched on his face, but it was all worth it in the end. Ian Stannard, the winner, and Great Britain finally on the list of winners here at the Omloop Het Nieuwsblad. In the meantime, this is what's going on behind. Sprint for the minor places. Sky get their classic season off to a great start. Stannard it is who makes history. 300 metres to go for these guys. Every place counts, of course. Van den Berg leading it out. Taylor Finney's there as well. Finney coming through the middle now. Finney looking the strongest in the fact as they come into the last 100 metres. Alfredo on the right as well. And it will be Taylor Finney who comes through alongside Arnaud Demar and Egoitz Garcia, who wins those minor place sprints. So Sky with 2 riders on the podium, 1st and 3rd, but all of the attention going to the man who's made history, Ian Stannard, as the first winner from United Kingdom to win the Omloop Het Nieuwsblad. What a beauty. He was in the perfect position, right on the wheel, hid and waited. Van Avermaet was getting there, he was gaining. In the end, the finish line coming perhaps 10 or 15 metres too soon for Greg Van Avermaet, who just could not overtake the Brit. No celebration for Stannard. Rides straight on through. He is a tower of strength. Ian Stannard, Greg van Avermaet, being Greg van Avermaet, picking up a podium place. The questions will linger along for him again, but Ian Stannard wins what is the biggest race of his career. One more look at the sprint. Launched with around 200, 250 metres to go. Impressive that he was able to hold that there as well. Such strength from the big man. And the man they call Yogi held on to it with that bear-like strength. Wonderful win. I wonder if he's realised yet. It looks as though it's been a painful day out there for them. So just his second win as a professional, Ian Stannard. Win since the stage on the Tour of Austria in 2011, plus the British Championships in 2012 as well. And there it is, just over a wheel length for Stannard. So confirmation of the results. Ian Stannard, Greg van Avermaet and Edvald Boasson Harden is the podium. Sepp van Mark with another superb ride. Niki Terpstra had plenty to play for as well. Jean-Pierre Drucker, Taylor Phinney, Dries Stevenijns and Egoitz Garcia from 10th last year to 9th this year, with Arnaud Denard flying the flag for France. It was close to call from straight on. Stannard looked to have taken it, but no celebration from the guys. As we look down on Ghent's new football stadium. The Arco Arena, a pretty impressive arena. But what a race. Just getting the breath back here in the commentary box. It has been stunning. If you're watching around the world, thank you for your company. To have you along for the next 6 weeks or so, because if all the racing's going to be anything like that, then we are in for a real treat this spring. Ian Stannard, this guy winning in 2010 with Van der Fletcher, as he was nicknamed, Joan Anthony Fletcher. I said before, was probably sitting on a beach or on his surfboard somewhere watching this, but he will be a very happy man, because Ian Stannard has taken the win for Great Britain, and Sky had their first one-day win of 2014. It's really interesting to think about what he thought of his rivals as well. There was attacking that never ceased. He's one of them, Greg van Avermaet. Needs help to get dressed, he's that knackered. He is absolutely tired out, the poor soul. Shivering as well down there. No wonder there wasn't enough strength. That is not a nice sight to see. I wonder how many of these riders we'll see in Kuurne, Brussels, Kuurne tomorrow. Rest of the peloton riding on in. Kudos for everybody to finishing who has finished today. Showing off their race numbers 9 minutes back. Well, you won't blame him for keeping the coats on in this weather. Absolutely. Well, we'll see if we can question Van Avermaet's tactics for you as well down at the finish line. And he was gaining on Stannard, perhaps he did have the speed. Did the launch a sprint at the right moment? That's the question. Did he react quick enough? Something to dissect as well. As we go into the races of the next Europe, with the likes of Glasgow, London and the Cup. as we build up to the big one. De Ronde van Vlaanderen, the Tour of Flanders. Coming up next month.
Ian Stannard, many congratulations. That late surge, was it your track experience that helped you there in your timing?
Yeah, just, you know, I knew the guys behind us had dropped off a bit, so it's just about playing it right, and I felt strong, you know, on the lead in, and I was confident for the sprint.
You timed that perfectly. Why that distance? You knew how far you could go?
Yeah, I knew 300 metres, you know, needed to wind it up a little bit and not super fast, so it just worked out well, and it was a bit uphill as well to try and get a gap, so yeah.
Did you expect to surprise him? Because he was surprised.
Yeah, I was just waiting for him to look the other way, and then I knew I had to go around that mark and just hit him as hard as I could and try and get the gap, and it worked out well.
Of course, we remember Kuurne, Brussel-Kuurne, 1 second in very bad conditions. Today wasn't that cold, but you're a bad weather specialist, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't the warmest of days either, and you had to stay dressed up, and you know, it's about getting your clothing right and staying as warm as possible.
Thanks very much, Ian Stannard.